Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Joe Scarborough had a complete meltdown today. I mean, an epic meltdown.
Oh, yeah, it was out of control.
Now, I don't know why this MSNBC show is even on in the mornings. I mean, who's watching that? I'm on the air then at the same time. So, I saw this on Twitter, and I know none of you saw it because you were watching and listening to me this morning. But Joe Scarborough, his hatred of Donald Trump over an incident that happened like 6 years ago now has just been a slippery slope. Now, just to give you a little recap for those that don't remember, when Donald Trump, this will be hard to believe for a lot of you out there, and a lot of you will say, yeah, I remember that, you've forgotten. But when Donald Trump was first elected, Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski on MSNBC were two of his biggest fans and supporters. They were in love with this guy. They were like us, all of us. You guys listening to me when it came to Trump, they were all about Donald Trump. And they were so in with Donald Trump that he invited them to Mar-a-Lago for New Year's.
Yeah.
And they went to New Year's at Mar-a-Lago, and not just invited to Mar-a-Lago, invited to sit. They were invited there to be with the Trump family personally. And Mika Brzezinski made a very stupid decision prior to this. And Joe Scarborough made another stupid decision to compound her stupid decision. Right before they went to Mar-a-Lago for New Year's, which is New Year's party, New Year's dinner with the Trump family, while he was president in his first term there, she decided to have major cosmetic surgery on her face. She had a major facelift. She had gone right from the surgery to Mar-a-Lago. Her face was bandaged up like the Invisible Man or the Mummy. And not only that, because she had just had the surgery, the ooze of the wounds and the stitches and all of that were soaking through the bandages. They get to Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's time for dinner, and President Trump told Joe, you can't bring Mika to dinner with the bandages soaked in blood at the dinner table. You're going to make everyone sick, which I don't even think President Trump should have had to tell Joe that. I think they should have figured this out on their own, but their arrogance of the celebrity, and remember, Mika Brzezinski's father is part of the deep state. Her father was the national security advisor to President Carter, who had a big role in that Iranian hostage disaster, being his national security advisor. And they got so offended that Donald Trump would not allow Mika Brzezinski to come to dinner with the President of the United States, bleeding all over the place, that they went on. Now everything the guy does is wrong, and it's been going on ever since. It's so bizarre.
He said something which I never understood why during a speech, which I thought was a strange thing for him to say.
Yeah.
He talked about this and brought it up, and
he did.
Really humiliated her. And I really
they were attacking him.
No. This was the one time Trump humiliated somebody first. I'm pretty sure before they attacked him. I'm pretty sure, unless they said one thing.
They said something first.
They must have said one thing.
Trump never attacks first.
And that really set them off. And I was listening to you playing this clip in the office, getting ready for the show, and this is the most unhinged I've ever heard any liberal, or he's not really a liberal, I guess, or he is. This is the most unhinged I've ever heard anybody commenting on Donald Trump.
It's insane.
It's absolutely, this guy has completely lost touch with reality.
And I'll tell you, so I'm going to play this in a bit.
I hope people are tired of hearing this from these liberals. I really hope they wised up to it and realized that they're just trying to scare you.
But when Joe Scarborough talks, nothing he says has any credibility, because everything is very petty, very personal, because of this thing with Mika bleeding all over the place and wanting to come to dinner. Like she had been in a car accident. It was ridiculous. Okay, so this is from Morning Joe today. And as I said, I know none of you have seen this, none of you have heard this, because it's on when I'm on, and who would be watching this?
Of course.
He's talking, of course, he's got Mika there, but he's talking to Al Sharpton, who was responsible for riots in New York City that got Jews killed, okay? That's the credible person he's talking to. All right, let me go through this. Let's play. This is Joe today on our great president, Donald Trump.
Have a responsibility to tune out the voices of the haters, of the people that are constantly double and triple checking and shilling for him and suggesting that somehow they're being biased, bending over backwards, treating him like a normal candidate. He's not a normal candidate. He is running to end American democracy as we know it. He's an authoritarian who...
Now, first off, if he wants to end American democracy, why is he bothering with this running thing, right? Why is he running?
A court in Colorado 2 days ago ruled that he led an insurrection against the United States government. He's charged with leading schemes to help overthrow the United States government. So if they want to frame it that way, that's fine. If you want to be fair, then you will frame this as Joe Biden being the candidate that supports American democracy and Donald Trump, a candidate who supports a new form of government here that's authoritarian. It's really that simple. And by the way, Reverend Al, when people go, oh, you can't compare him to past Nazi leaders, you can't compare him to this past Nazi leader or that past fascist leader, because he hasn't done that. Well, what hasn't he done? He hasn't done the things that the American judicial system did not allow him to do last time, but may very well allow him to do this time, or a judicial system that will be ignored by Donald Trump and ran over by Donald Trump to create the greatest constitutional crisis of our lifetimes. Just because he hasn't done it yet doesn't mean he won't do it.
Oh my goodness! Now, so this hasn't even gotten to the big part yet.
Yeah, it gets worse.
I played the short version, which is at the end, is what's all over Twitter. The reason I'm playing the long version is that part right there, where he says, just because he hasn't done these evil things like Hitler doesn't mean he won't do it.
They live in a fantasy
What kind of logic is that?
No logic.
Logic at all.
It's illogical.
Yeah. That's not like they found a young 20-something campaign worker dead in his office.
Exactly. That would be
like
something.
happened to Scarborough.
That would be something.
Campaign office.
When he gets a chance to do it. And if he is voted into office, then a lot of these people that are talking about literal or figurative or whatever the hell they're saying, you're going to look like idiots. Because he will get away with, he will imprison, he will execute whoever he's allowed to imprison, execute, drive from the country. Just look at his past. It's not really hard to read. The only thing that stood between him and the destruction of American democracy was the federal judiciary.
Okay.
Who has Trump executed?
Exactly. Well, it doesn't mean he won't do it, Kathy.
I know. He pardoned a lot of people that were on death row.
What is it?
Didn't he? He pardoned a lot of people. Maybe not death row, but he did pardon a lot of people.
He gave clemency, let people out of prison.
Yeah, but I don't know who Trump has executed.
No, but I don't know.
He really is trying to convince people.
Unless you count like ISIS.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's really convinced, or he's trying to convince people that if Trump wins, or when Trump wins,
out of his mind,
he is going to execute all these people that have accused him of false things. That's just crazy. That is so irresponsible. But you're right. Nobody listens to him. They're always listening to you. So
this meltdown,
thank goodness for that.
This meltdown that he had,
that's a meltdown,
is not out of the blue. The reason that he's had this meltdown is because all of these polls, including NBC News, because he's with NBC, MSNBC, NBC News had a massive poll come out over the weekend. And Donald Trump is winning in every demo, not just against the Republicans, but against Biden. And in every poll from every polling organization that has come out, there was a whole bunch of polls that came out in the last 5 or 6 days. Donald Trump is just surging all over the place. And Joe is in a panic. And you know what? There's a lot of people in a panic because a lot of people have been committing a lot of crimes against Donald Trump since they were spying on him at Trump Tower. And when Joe Scarborough is right about one thing. When he comes back in his second term, Donald Trump, there are going to be a lot of people that are running government agencies and offices of the government now that are going to be facing criminal charges because this lawfare that they're doing is illegal.
Well, this is what they're really afraid of now is these investigations of the investigations.
That's right, the J6
and things
committee
being exposed. It's already happening. It's already happening just in the court of public opinion and people seeing things for themselves. You could tell because the polls are changing, the polls are shifting. And that's because people are seeing what's really happening. And you got somebody like Joe Rogan who has so many listeners who's even saying, it should scare every American how they lied to everybody just to stop one person and the lengths they'll go to. And he's right. And that's what people are waking up to. Plus, you have the two wars. You have inflation. I mean, it's a mess right now. You have the cities falling apart, homelessness everywhere, drugs, the fentanyl, the border. It's a mess. It's a mess. And they refuse to take responsibility for their actions, for Joe Biden, for the disaster, what's happening. They double down, they triple down, they quadruple down, and it just blame Trump. Does he really believe what he's saying, or is he just so blinded by his personal hatred?
It's both.
Because
it's both.
I don't understand the thought process of what he just said, how he can rationalize that in his mind. I mean, to me, that's pure anxiety.
You know what it is,
there.
Kathy? A lot of it is with people that are in the mainstream media. They believe that they are all powerful and they decide who is in power.
That's how it always is.
And it's not that way anymore. It hasn't been that way since 2016 when Trump beat Hillary Clinton. And the media, and he's part of the media, they can't handle the fact that they have no influence. There have been people that I did not want to win the presidency that did, like Barack Obama.
Right.
I don't take it personally. I don't go nuts.
We didn't cry or freak out.
Exactly. We're not happy about it.
No, exactly.
Not happy. But it happens. That's the way the system is. But these people on the left, and he's part of the left now. He used to be a Republican, Joe Scarborough. He was a Republican congressman from here in Florida.
Right.
Over on the Gulf Coast. I can't remember what town he's from again, but they probably don't talk about it over there. They're probably embarrassed. And he's become like an independent or something, but he's really a Democrat. He's really sleeping with a Democrat with Mika. The left, it's just like this guy that just became the president of Argentina. He said that when you oppose the left, they try to destroy you. They're out to when you oppose them, when you defeat them, they want to destroy you.
They're the real dictators.
And they don't see it.
And they malign you, they smear you, they make up lies about you, they try to destroy your life. And but they honestly feel it's completely justified because you're the dangerous one.
And they're so right.
But all of their actions that they have done against Trump are worse than anything they've ever accused him of doing. 10 times worse.
Mm-hmm. Well, Kathy, it's like...
but this to me is a new low, saying he's going to execute people.
That's insane.
That's a new low even for him.
And he believes that.
That's a new low.
He believes it.
It's insanity.
It's like what's going on here with Elon Musk going after Media Matters, which is amazing. The left have two tactics. One, divide people along every lines, right? Christians against gays, black against white. You can go through every possible combination. The Democrats' number one strategy is always to divide every possible group,
divide and conquer.
And their second thing is to destroy anyone who opposes them. And Media Matters and Twitter were the two primary tools that the left used to destroy opposition. Elon Musk got Twitter, and when Elon Musk took over Twitter, the left cancel culture totally destroyed. And I'm not going to get into the details of the Media Matters right now, because I talked about it on my morning stream today, so I'm not going to go through that again. But I know a lot of you know about it. If you don't go online and read up on it, it's amazing. People like Benny Johnson are saying this time next year, Media Matters will not exist.
Wow.
Okay? And for the first time, what Donald Trump has done, I tell you guys a lot, Donald Trump's a civil rights leader, and this is beyond, what Donald Trump has done is beyond the presidential election, congressional House races, or even your local elections in your own community. He has inspired people like Elon Musk and others to challenge the liberal leftist establishment. That's what's going on in Argentina right now. That's, if it wasn't for Trump, Argentina, it wouldn't have happened. Okay. If it wasn't for Trump, Elon Musk never would have bought Twitter. When they banned Trump from Twitter, that put in place. I know that wasn't the final thing. The Babylon Bee is when Elon Musk said, okay, that's it. But when they banned Trump from Twitter, that set off a series of events that led to Elon Musk buying Twitter. Mm-hmm. That neutered them like nothing ever has. It's really amazing what damage that's done to the liberal cancel culture machine. And Joe Scarborough, they're losing because they got all these court cases with their lawfare going on, and all the polls come out. Trump probably has broken every polling record in this election cycle that has ever existed. I have never seen polls like this with a candidate in a primary.
They have their own candidate to blame for it. I mean, he's a disaster. Their policies are a disaster, and
no, that's true.
That's a big part of the problem. If Joe Biden, which I knew would never happen, but if he had delivered, if he had made things great and the inflation was down and things were at peace, then the polls would be different. But so it's two things. It's the love of Trump. It's and seeing the corruption that goes with that, people against him, and it's Biden being so bad. And he's to blame for it, and they chose this guy. They're stuck with him. He's not going to resign or step down. I mean, they're stuck with this guy, and they know it. And there's nothing they can do. And
but
you know what? Even if they put in anybody else, I don't think anybody else could beat Trump.
Well,
I think people are so tired of all this BS.
Well, no, it's what you said is true, Kathy. If things were going well now, Trump would still be winning with the Republicans, but he wouldn't be as high as he is. Even
That's right.
Biden.
The polls would be different. So Biden has a lot to do with this. So they have only themselves to blame.
And then yesterday, the White House said Biden doesn't care about the polls. They're lies. I was talking earlier today, and this is so true. The world is in chaos, and all this death in Israel, in Ukraine, the fentanyl deaths, all of this death that's going on is a direct result of Joe Biden. Joe Biden is responsible for every single one of them because he's weak, he's corrupt, he's senile, he's got his dementia. And those of you out there that oppose Trump, you've got a responsibility in all these things too.
That's right.
We would have complete world peace right now. None of these, we would not even know Zelensky's name if Trump were in office right now. Everyone would still be saying Kiev instead of Kyiv if Trump were in his second term right now. These women who were raped and murdered in Israel never would have happened at that music festival. It would have been a beautiful music festival if Biden were not president. Now, I want to tell you guys, Mike Lindell, we got Mike Lindell and MyPillow as sponsors of this program and all of my content because of Kathy. Mike Lindell followed me on Twitter. Mm-hmm. This is before everything happened. And Kathy sent him a DM about advertising. He followed me on Twitter. He said, absolutely, Kathy. And he's been with us ever since.
He answered me right away, like within 20 minutes. Yeah. I was shocked.
Yeah. It was amazing. Kathy says, I want to send a DM to Mike Lindell. And I said, okay. And we were out of town at a hotel. Kathy was in the room, and I was at the hotel bar. And you called me. You're like, you're not going to believe I just heard from. I said, who? I said Mike Lindell. And I said, you're kidding me. And you said, no.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
So, Mike Lindell, he's a friend of ours, and he's just great. And we live in a MyPillow household. And his products are all great. But I want to talk about the Giza Dream bed sheets, okay? We have them on our beds. Mm-hmm. I think we have 6 sets of them, 4 regular and 2 flannel. They look and feel great. You'll get a good night's sleep like you've never experienced before. They're made with the world's best cotton, which is Giza cotton. They're ultra soft. They're breathable, extremely durable. We have 6 sets, but the set we got first, when they first came out, looks like the day it arrived, even though we wash them and dry them and everything else, of course, because they're sheets. They hold up because everything Mike Lindell makes is high quality. But this I did not know. Do you know that Mike Lindell's 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty? I had no idea, but they do. Now, they come in a whole bunch of different sizes and colors, and there's an incredible deal going on right now, the sale of the year for the Christmas season. For a limited time, you will receive 50% off Mike Lindell's 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets. You can get a set of sheets for as low as $29.98. Wow. Yeah. So now to do this, you go to mypillow.com, click on the radio podcast square on the website, okay? The radio podcast square at mypillow.com. These are where the specials are. You hear me talk about the radio podcast square. Use our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E at checkout. Not only going to find this amazing offer on the Dream Sheets, but huge discounts on all MyPillow products, including the MyPillow Mattress Topper 2.0, which is a 3-inch mattress topper with the temperature regulating technology, the new MyPillow kitchen towel sets, which we don't have for some reason. We got to order those, Kathy, and so much more. So go to mypillow.com, use our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. That's K-A-N-E at checkout, and 50% off the MyPillow 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We're going to take a quick break and be right back. Don't go anywhere.
This Christmas, give the gift of creativity, imagination, and endless fun with B-Blocks Building Blocks, available on Amazon. B-Blocks Building Blocks isn't just a fun gift, but it's educational too. It's a STEM toy of 500 pieces. That's right, 500 pieces to ignite your little one's creativity. Children will be introduced to a world of colors, shapes, and designs. They'll learn to play and create with 8 vibrant colors. From enhancing fine motor skills to exploring basic geometry and architecture, B-Blocks Building Blocks is fun and a powerful learning tool. And they click securely together, too. They're safe and cool, perfect for boys and girls. And this is a gift they'll cherish for years to come. B-Blocks Building Blocks are available in the B-Blocks store on Amazon. Just search B-Blocks, B-E-B-L-O-X. B-Blocks Building Blocks, because every child deserves the best. Only in the B-Blocks store on Amazon. Order your child's set right now. From master storyteller, author Billy Wade, comes a sequel to his acclaimed 2022 military crime novel, Fair Winds of Death, with Fair Winds of Deceit, now available on Amazon. In Fair Winds of Deceit, it's October 1971. Forget everything you know about modern investigations. In the world of the Naval Investigative Service, it's a game of wits, intuition, and sometimes just sheer luck. There's no DNA, no internet, just good old-fashioned detective work. In Fair Winds of Deceit, Lieutenant Commander Marcus Colt is handed a cold case. He's the Navy's last hope to find a missing scientist that's crucial to national defense. With a trail that's gone cold, can Colt uncover the truth? From the corridors of power in the United States to the scenic alleys of Italy, danger is lurking in every corner. With an escalating series of murders and getting deeper and deeper into a conspiracy, will Colt and his partner in training, Ensign Wendy James, unravel the mystery? For Colt, it's not just about cracking the case, it's about keeping his team alive. Suspense, intrigue, and adventure are all in Fair Winds of Deceit from author Billy Wade. Available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover editions. And for a copy personally autographed by the author, visit wadepublishing.com. Unmask the truth with Fair Winds of Deceit from author Billy Wade. Order yours on Amazon. From author Trisha Patty Page comes the book series Secrets of the Toad, an inspirational book series for children dealing with some aspect of acceptance. In this series, siblings Jake and Emma weave in and out of everyday challenges with the help and guidance of the mystical toad Tobias. In the first book, Secrets of the Toad Reflection, Emma has difficulty looking at herself in the mirror as she tries to find her place amongst her peers. Finally, she learns to accept herself. In the second book, Secrets of the Toad Play Ball, Jake must face the fact that all sorts of changes come with a new baseball coach. He learns from Tobias, the mystical toad, to see the good in a challenging situation. In the third book, Secrets of the Toad The Win, Jake is about to enter the playoffs, bringing with him several questions. First, will he finally get his opportunity to pitch? Second, is there anything more important than playing ball? Third, will Jake step up to the plate when he witnesses bullying? And finally, should Jake go to visit Tobias by himself, or does he dare take his sister Emma, a non-stop talker, with him? Tobias is the one who seems to hold all the answers and more. The entire Secrets of the Toad book series from author Trisha Patty Page is available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover editions. Order yours right now. Embark on a culinary journey that will tantalize your taste buds and elevate your overall well-being with the Mediterranean Diet Cookbook for Newbies 2023 from Connoisseur of Flavors and author Donald Emmerich. Available right now on Amazon. The Mediterranean Diet Cookbook for Newbies 2023 is your compass to a healthier lifestyle, filled with 120 recipes thoughtfully designed for beginners. Each dish is a celebration of flavor and health. It's more than just a diet. It's a way of life. With this must-read book, you'll embrace vitality and have boundless energy with easy-to-follow recipes and a meticulously crafted meal plan. There's also a handy weekly shopping list that takes the guesswork out of your grocery shopping. Enjoy hearty breakfast, satisfying main dishes, and sweet desserts. This is perfect for any dietary need, including meat, poultry, seafood, and vegetarian options. It's time to transform your eating habits and embrace a healthier, more flavorful lifestyle. Order your copy of the Mediterranean Diet Cookbook for Newbies 2023 from author Donald Emmerich on Amazon. Available in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. Order your copy right now.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Alina Habba, Trump's attorney, the supermodel attorney. Oh, man, she's taken on Letitia James. Yeah, before we get into this, though, Kathy and I watched The Amazing Race, and we watched last week's episode yesterday. We're behind on it, right? And they went to Melania's country.
Yes.
Slovenia.
Yes.
And I've never seen Slovenia. On The Amazing Race, it was last week's episode, they went to Slovenia, and they did these really incredible challenges. They drove through the main city and all, but one of them involved flying in a glider. I have never seen a place as beautiful as Slovenia.
It's literally like a fairy tale place. If you have wrote a book about a fairy tale country, like with a princess and everything, it is so beautiful. I've never seen it before.
You said it looked like the kingdom in
like
Frozen.
Arendelle out of Frozen.
Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous. It is probably one of the most beautiful countries I've ever seen.
And I guess it was part
absolutely
of
beautiful.
I guess it was part of Yugoslavia. I'm not too sure about that.
I don't know anything about it. It was clean,
beautiful
architecture,
just like Melania.
Yeah, I mean, just absolutely beautiful place.
I know,
really stunning.
Of course, they didn't make any references to the first lady
of course not.
in The Amazing Race because it's all liberal stuff. But they've got to have a statue of her somewhere.
I don't know. I would hope, but you never know.
I never thought I'd say this, but
I would think so. Yeah.
I would love to visit Slovenia. I mean, it is so beautiful.
It is definitely a place worth visiting. It is gorgeous.
You think the Trumps have a house over there for her to go visit? I bet they got someplace over there.
I don't know. I've never heard of them going there, though.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she does.
And her parents are here.
Yeah, her parents are here now.
So Alina Habba's in the news. Let me read that. This is great. Alina Habba, when I first saw her, and she was on TV and stuff like that, I just thought, she's too pretty to be like a tough lawyer. She is like one of the toughest attorneys I've ever seen. She's like, when she's doing these press conferences and things, and a little bit, you don't really see her in court too much, just in the beginnings because these cases aren't televised. But you see her come on. She's like Johnny Cochran in the Dream Team from OJ. I cannot believe how tough she is.
She's tough.
Isn't she?
She's tough.
Everybody thinks, everyone thought, including me, honestly. I thought Trump hired her just because she was conservative and she was looked like a supermodel.
Women can be beautiful and smart. I know that's a foreign concept to you.
I thought that this is what I thought, and I was wrong. Okay, I thought that he had hired her not just because she's an attorney who's good looking. I thought he hired her to kind of be like the television face of the legal team.
Well, I'm sure that factored into it, but she's also
like the lead.
Smart. Yeah,
she's like the lead.
Trump's into aesthetics, no doubt about that. But he likes somebody that has the whole package. He appreciates people that have the whole package: the brains, the toughness, and the beauty.
I've never seen.
That's how his wife is.
I've never seen a female attorney who. There are other attorneys, okay, like Megyn Kelly, but Megyn Kelly's no Alina Habba when it comes to courtroom stuff. I promise you. But she's fantastic. But let me read through this story. Donald Trump's attorney, Alina Habba, celebrated a judge lifting a gag order on her client as she accused New York Attorney General Letitia James of extortion and fighting for Deutsche Bank. The fiery Trump attorney said President Trump will not be sad if he can't do business in New York when this trial is over, but insist the Trump organization did no harm. Meanwhile, Habba tamped down speculation that the case could be nearing a plea deal. It would be, plea deals. It would be very difficult, a very difficult position for me to advise my client at this point to pay for what is effectively extortion, Habba told the press. Letitia James is fighting for Deutsche Bank. The Attorney General has claimed that the Trump organization used Deutsche Bank, its single largest credit lender, by inflating the value of Trump's companies to secure favorable loans. What harm did the Trump organization do? They've created thousands of jobs. They pay hundreds of millions in taxes. They have single-handedly changed the skyline of the city, she went on. The penalty for Trump could be to bar him from doing business in New York. And she says he won't be sad to have to leave New York. And that's a sad statement. You know, Donald Trump, you know, I'm not a New Yorker. You know, the times I've been in New York is just as a tourist. But when Donald Trump started doing his real estate, New York was a dump with a lot of high crime. Okay. And he began this new trend of renovation in New York City.
Well, I'm sure the New York he sees now isn't the New York he probably doesn't recognize it half the time. It's too bad. It's such a great city, but it's really, has a lot of crime now, and it's kind of going the opposite direction. But maybe he feels, I've done so much for this city, and they've just turned their back on me. Screw them. Yeah,
Alina Habba says death threats are now a normal part of my life, she says. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah.
A member of the Trump team shared a death threat against Habba from a man in prison for rape, harassment, and stalking.
Oh, God.
And I'm not going to read what he wrote. It's in this article, but I'm not going to read it. Habba brushed off the threats and added security precautions just come with the job, she said. That's it. And, she's down here in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, she lives down here in Florida. And she's up there in New Jersey, too. But
is her practice down here? I mean, how did he?
I don't know where her office is. I think her office is wherever Trump is.
How do you become a Trump lawyer? Do they know somebody? Is it like through other people or
I don't know.
I'm assuming it's like somebody knew her.
One day, many years from now, when all this is settled, like 20 or 30 years from now, Alina Habba is going to be one of the people that give us the real insight of everything that went on inside the Trump organization during all this time, because she's been there for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And she's going to become a very important person to write the historical record of what's going on. But this is the court case that with Letitia James with that lunatic judge. But these January 6th,
hope she doesn't turn on him like Jenna Ellis.
Oh no. The J6 tapes though that the Speaker of the House released, that's got to do serious damage to that case with the lady judge in D.C. And the Speaker of the House was at Mar-a-Lago and met with President Trump this week at an event. Yeah,
awesome.
It's the first time that they've met since he's been Speaker. So they're making plans together.
Yeah, they're buddies.
There's an article today. I don't believe this article. Let me pull this up. It's about. Did you see this thing about Matt Gaetz? This is such BS. A new Florida poll. This is in Breitbart. Says 3-1. This is a ratio here in Florida. 3-1 disapprove of Matt Gaetz in Florida.
It seems hard to believe.
I don't buy that at all. I don't know who they are polling. Matt Gaetz has nearly. Oh, I hate when you pull up an article online and then a video pops up.
Yeah.
Matt Gaetz has nearly a 3-1 disapproval rating in his home state of Florida, according to a survey from the Florida Atlantic University Main Street Poll Com Lab.
Oh, that's your alma mater.
Florida Atlantic University is my alma mater, and they're in the news all the time now.
It's a great school because they got a great basketball team.
And they got great alumni.
They're
like
ranked
me.
Like basketball. I mean, they're in the top 10, I think, because they went to the Final Four last year.
Yeah.
The Owls.
The poll asked, do you approve or disapprove of Matt Gaetz' performance as a member of Congress? 57% somewhat disapprove. Of those, 46% strongly disapprove. On the flip side, just 21% somewhat approve. I'd like to know who they polled.
Probably Democrats.
Because I don't. Come on. Maybe they polled students at Florida Atlantic University who college students always lean to the left. I have not met anyone in Florida who's a Republican that doesn't do anything but love on Matt Gaetz. And I've seen most of the events I've been to in Florida where Trump has been at, Matt Gaetz has been there too. Yep. Not all of them, most of them. And when Matt Gaetz comes out, people go wild. People love this guy.
Yeah, they do.
So I don't know who they were polling, but this poll, it's not just in Breitbart. I saw this all over social media today. I think it was trending.
I wonder what he has to say about it.
He knows it's BS. And, one thing that Matt Gaetz does that I think is just super amazing, every day he does a podcast and he puts it up on YouTube. I'm sure it's on other platforms. He does a podcast from his congressional office and he talks about everything that's going on in the news.
Do you know what his district is?
It's District 1 in Florida, whatever district that is. He's got, I wish he was our congressman.
I think it's on the West Coast somewhere.
Let me take a look.
I'm not sure.
No, I didn't realize his district was so far up in Florida. His Matt Gaetz district, it's District 1. I guess it makes sense when you see it's District 1.
Yeah.
It's in the Panhandle where Pensacola is. That's kind of like the anchor of it.
Which is very, very conservative.
Yeah, I've never been to the
very
Panhandle.
Conservative.
Never been to the Panhandle.
Well, I've been to. I have. I went to school in Tallahassee, and then we would go to some of the beach towns, which were like 30, 45 minutes away in the Panhandle. But I've never been to Pensacola. There's that big Air Force station there or whatever. I've always wanted to go there, but I've never been to Pensacola.
I've seen it online.
I've been everywhere in Florida, but I've never been there.
But you know what? You want to know something that's crazy? I just found this out. This coincidence because I'm going through the history of this district. You know who used to be the congressperson from there? Joe Scarborough.
Oh my gosh, isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's Joe Scarborough's.
That's his district.
Now the districts have been moved around, so it might have had a different number when Joe Scarborough was, but he represented the Pensacola.
That's funny
too. So they, things change every 10 years, but still.
Did he not get reelected because of that thing with the intern, or what happened? Is he just a failed politician who's just endlessly frustrated, or did he not run again, or did he drop out, or do you know anything about that?
It's been so long, I don't remember, but since I got him here, I'll look it up real quick. Okay, now I'm glad you asked, Kathy, about Joe Scarborough.
Good.
Okay,
inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, because this is an interesting thing. This is what it says on Wikipedia. They leave out something though. This is Joe Scarborough, all right? When did he leave Congress? He was a Republican. In May 2001, 5 months into his fourth term in Congress, Joe Scarborough stated his intention to resign.
4 terms.
To spend more time with his children.
Yes, that's the old excuse.
Of his resignation, Scarborough said, the realization has come home to me that they're at a critical stage of their lives, and I'd rather be judged at the end of my life as a father than as a congressman.
What a bunch of bull.
They leave out the part that in 2001 is when they found the dead intern in his office.
He was avoiding a scandal. That's why
exactly.
He did it. He panicked. He's a coward, and he obviously has a lot of skeletons in his closet.
Yes.
We don't know the full story. He's a frustrated, failed politician, and he probably figures in his mind he'd be a senator by now, or maybe even a president by now. You know what I mean? But those aspirations.
And he says, I'm looking at Scarborough's background. He resigned from Congress in May 2001. 2001 is when they found the dead girl in his office, right?
Yeah, just a coincidence.
So he resigned in May. In October, he married his second wife. So, so this guy,
wow,
yeah,
October of that year.
They found the dead girl in his office.
Right.
I'm not sure what month that happened because they don't bother to tell us that.
What is the story behind that?
Trump's asked that question a few times,
yes,
too.
He has.
In May, he resigned from Congress, 2001, and then in October, after that, he married his second wife, who was
obviously his wife left him. Yeah,
his second wife, Joe Scarborough's second wife, was an aide to then Florida Governor Jeb Bush.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. So he's all in with the Bushies.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I think the dead girl in the office had something to do with him leaving Congress.
I think it had a lot to do with it.
Just a coincidence. Spend more.
I would love to know the story behind that.
Anytime these guys resign and say it's to spend more time with their family, that's nonsense.
We all know that's not
That's
true.
complete nonsense.
Yeah, these guys don't give a damn about their families.
But there's this poll about Matt Gaetz is circulating. Listen, Florida, a couple things about Florida. Florida is a strong Republican state by far, but there are Democrats here too. And when they poll everyone, they poll Democrats too. So I find it impossible to believe.
I don't believe that.
That there are Republicans who hate on Matt Gaetz in the state of Florida. Republicans in Florida love this guy.
Yeah. That's been my experience.
Anytime I've been in an event, and usually when I've been at an event like I remember I was at one Trump rally, and Matt Gaetz was just off to the side of the stage talking to somebody, and all you could see was like his eyes and the top of his hair. The whole place went nuts because they recognized him. There was no booing.
No.
It's just nonsense stories. Yeah. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
From author Stephanie Tayo comes a book that takes place in Cornwall, Ontario, where it seems that dreams can come true and life feels uncomplicated. But one young woman's world is about to be forever transformed. Love Beyond Age. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other online booksellers. In Love Beyond Age, meet Quinn. She's a determined soul with aspirations of becoming a psychologist. She shares a simple life with her dad, saving every penny for her dreams. But life has a way of throwing unexpected curveballs. Everything changes when she crosses paths with James, whose presence by the river ignites a connection neither can deny. As their university journeys begin, Quinn finds herself torn between her deepening connection with the mysterious James and her growing feelings for her competitive friend Jasper. Secrets are unveiled, revelations come to light, and Quinn discovers a shocking truth about James' hidden secret. As danger lurks on the horizon, relationships are put to the test, and old emotions resurface. A love triangle takes hold, pushing Quinn to the brink. She faces a choice that will shape her future and define her path. Love Beyond Age, from author Stephanie Tayo, is a story of love, secrets, and choices that will tug at your heartstrings. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Apple Books, and other online booksellers. Order your copy right now and be transported to a world where romance is intertwined with the complexities of life. Love Beyond Age, from author Stephanie Tayo. Order your copy right now. Get ready for an adrenaline-pumping journey into a world filled with intrigue and espionage from author Billy Wade. The sequel to his book, Fair Winds of Death, is now available on Amazon. Fair Winds of Deceit. It's October 1971, 4 months since the Navy's most prominent scientist disappeared without a trace. He left behind a top-secret submarine defense project that can't be completed without him. He must be found. Lieutenant Commander Marcus Colt, a highly decorated officer, is unlike any other agent in the NIS. He's become the Navy's go-to agent for finding leads and solving cases no other agents can. With the clock ticking to find the scientist and being distracted by his beautiful new partner, he's forced to deal with a series of murders and assaults that stretch his team thin. With lies and complexities everywhere, the team find themselves targets in an even deeper plot, a deadly plot that takes them to Italy. Lieutenant Commander Colt just might have what he needs to succeed if he can keep his team alive long enough to solve it. With unexpected allies and danger around every corner, Lieutenant Commander Colt races against time to crack the case and keep his team alive. Fair Winds of Deceit, from author Billy Wade, is available on Amazon. Order your copy right now. This book is perfect for book clubs. Fair Winds of Deceit, from author Billy Wade, on Amazon. This Christmas, give the gift of creativity, imagination, and endless fun with B-Blocks Building Blocks, available on Amazon. B-Blocks Building Blocks isn't just a fun gift, but it's educational too. It's a STEM toy of 500 pieces. That's right, 500 pieces to ignite your little one's creativity. Children will be introduced to a world of colors, shapes, and designs. They'll learn to play and create with 8 vibrant colors. From enhancing fine motor skills to exploring basic geometry and architecture, B-Blocks Building Blocks is fun and a powerful learning tool. And they click securely together too. They're safe and cool. Perfect for boys and girls. And this is a gift they'll cherish for years to come. B-Blocks Building Blocks are available in the B-Blocks store on Amazon. Just search B-Blocks. B-E-B-L-O-X. B-Blocks Building Blocks, because every child deserves the best. Only in the B-Blocks store on Amazon. Order your child's set right now.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day, the buy one, get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got slippers on the way, too.
Go to MyPillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and buy your My Pillow 2.0. Right now, buy one, get one free. You can also order by phone, toll free, 800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. You know, this New York Governor Hochul, she's a lunatic. She's a complete lunatic.
Yeah.
She just had a press moment. I'm going to share it with you. She must smoke about 3 packs a day.
You think so?
Her voice, oh yeah. The way her voice is, that's a smoker's voice. But anyway, listen to what she says here. I don't know what this has to do with being governor, but listen.
Today I'm directing the Director of Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services to develop media literacy tools for K through 12.
Okay, now, before we play the whole thing, she didn't say, I'm directing our state Secretary of Education. She's directing Homeland Security. Homeland Security. Yeah. Homeland Security was an agency of government that was formed after 9/11 to protect the homeland from terrorist attack. And what had happened was, I know you guys know about Department of Homeland Security, but there may be some liberals listening. Every once in a while, I got to get the crayons out and the fat pencils, you know. But after 9/11 and those investigations went on, what they found is there's an endless number of intelligence agencies at the federal government. I can't remember the number. There's over 20. And they didn't communicate with one another. So a lot of them had little pieces of information that if they were all together, they may have known about the attack before it happened. So they formed the Department of Homeland Security to have all of these intelligence organizations under one umbrella so all information was shared. Now here we have, yet again, just like in Virginia, we have the governor of New York using the Department of Homeland Security, which was founded to protect the homeland from terrorist attacks.
It's incredible.
Investigating school curriculum. There we go. Let's play the whole thing, though.
Yeah, scary.
That is frightening, isn't it? It is.
Yeah, it is scary.
And it just rolls off her tongue like she's proud of this.
Today I'm directing the Director of Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services to develop media literacy tools for K through 12 in our public schools. This will teach students and even teachers to help understand how to spot conspiracy theories and misinformation, disinformation, and online hate. Start talking about what we're seeing out there. Give the teachers the tools they need to help these conversations in school. And by teaching younger New Yorkers about how to discern between digital fact and digital fiction, we can better inoculate them from hatred and the spread of it, and help prepare them for a very fast-moving and often confusing world.
Yeah, we don't want them to be confused and think...
They just don't teach kids academics anymore. I mean, they just teach them about being transgendered and social media and hate, conspiracy theories. And do they even teach reading and writing and arithmetic in school anymore? I mean, this is why if you go to TikTok, you see how stupid kids are these days.
Well, this thing
they don't stand a chance.
This thing here that she's talking about, Homeland Security should have nothing to do with education.
I agree.
Unless
that's frightening. That sounds to me like kids telling on their parents.
Yeah, unless a teacher...
That's what it sounds like.
Unless you find out a teacher's like with Al-Qaeda or something, then I could see Homeland being involved with that. But she's talking about curriculum. The liberals, we talk a lot about how they lost their monopoly on the news narrative.
Yeah.
Right? They've also lost their monopoly, the left, on fact, what is factual.
Yeah.
Prior to the rise of the internet, everything was done through books, right? As opposed to being online. And to get a book published, you couldn't just publish a Kindle book on your own now. Now anybody that has an idea can write a book and get their story out there or what they believe out there or their life out there. That's a good thing. Liberals don't like that. And, before, to get a book in the hands of people was very difficult and expensive, and and it had to go through a publishing process and all of this. And
I would never want to be a teacher.
And the publishers,
now. It's so different. I used to teach a long time ago. I would never ever want to teach now.
And the book publishers are all based where? Liberal New York.
Yeah.
So, you're dealing with liberal book publishers who decided what books people had, And I remember, Kathy, when online books first became a thing. I don't mean when Amazon first started. I mean when like Kindle books first started.
Yeah.
And I'd go to the bookstore. I'd go to Barnes & Noble because I love to read books. And I realize, as big as, these Barnes & Nobles are like superstores of books, but there's really not that much of a selection.
Right.
It's all the same books year after year from the same authors. And now with Kindle and independent publishing online, anyone can get a book out there.
Well,
and people like Kathy Hochul don't like that because they lose control of
that's what it's about.
Is factual in their minds.
This is about the Democrat urge to control.
Yes.
And they have this urge in them, this one thing they all share, other than also being complete a-holes.
Yes.
But they have an urge to control, and that's what this is all about. I really am curious how this is going to play out. And what they're thinking this means, to give teachers tools and kids tools. So what kind of tools? Like, is there going to be some kind of thing in place where you tattle on your parents? Or, I don't understand how this fits into academics.
And what is she talking about,
First
Kathy?
of all,
what conspiracy theories is she talking about?
First of all, kids should not even have phones in schools, period. Okay? So if they're setting up some task force to combat conspiracy theories online, why are they even discussing these things in a classroom?
They don't belong.
They don't belong there. Phones don't belong in there. They shouldn't be discussing anything online.
No.
They should be just reading the classics and giving them a proper education.
Well, Kathy, you know what it is? Okay. When our daughter's about to be 25. When she was in elementary school and they would have the bookmobile come to the school.
Yeah.
We'd give her like so much money. She bought more books than any other kid.
Yeah, we went a little crazy.
Yeah, we went a little crazy. But she's well read.
She's very well.
She's well read.
No,
the problem is now though is kids have access to information other than the books at the bookmobile. That should
not be discussed in school
at all. It's a problem to leftists.
They shouldn't even allow phones in school. So this to me is all about politics.
Yeah.
So what kind of misinformation? How is there misinformation if you're reading Hemingway or Mark Twain? That's not what this is about. I don't even know why this belongs in here. It doesn't belong in here. What kind of misinformation? This is all, when you're in high school, especially in middle school, your class time is so short. You got about 55 minutes of class time for each subject. By the time the kids come in, settle down, and you hand out the work and go over it, you maybe have 30 minutes. Maybe 40 minutes tops of their time. And out of those 40 minutes, you might get about 15 minutes of their attention.
Yeah.
Because you spend 90% of the time getting them to settle down and stop talking to each other. So when you have phones and all, now back in the day, we had notes. Everybody passed notes. That was the thing.
Slam
passing
books and
notes, slam books, stuff like that. So that's always going to be a part of school. But they need to ban phones completely out of schools. And I don't know why they would have any need to discuss anything going on in the news unless you're taking a course. I don't know. Did you take any classes in high school? Maybe a history class that you discuss current events, maybe once in a while. Well, but they're going to go over disinformation
that's not what she's talking
online.
What she's talking about, this is what Kathy Hochul's talking about.
Crazy. Yeah, what does she mean exactly?
Well, she's a little vague about it, but what she means...
Yeah, she's vague.
That's on purpose.
Right.
Kathy Hochul, she's the governor of New York, what she's talking about here there are kids in school that have these dangerous thoughts and beliefs. Like, I'll give you one. Okay?
Like being heterosexual?
No, I'll give you one, seriously.
Okay, yeah.
Like, there's a big one that has come up again recently. There's a lot of people don't believe that Americans ever went to the moon. Okay, how did they survive the radiation belt and all that stuff?
Right.
And I think that's a legitimate theory. By the way, we haven't gone to the moon again in 50 years, And how did they go there with that kind of technology way back then, and we haven't been able to return? I get those theories. To Kathy Hochul, that's dangerous thinking. There are kids coming to school that think that the idea of making America great again is a good thing. That's dangerous to Kathy Hochul.
So what does that mean? Misinformation. So
that means if you have an opinion that Kathy Hochul disagrees with, you're dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she knows what's best and what's right.
Liberals love control. They love to control your actions and your thoughts.
Another one they're talking about. There are kids in the public schools in New York who believe that EVs are a bad idea. Electric vehicles. Okay, that's wrong. Think. Understand? This is George Orwell's 1984.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's happening right here before our eyes in a press conference with the governor of New York. And it's hardly a blip in the media.
Well, and I have to think a lot of this has to do with Trump running and doing so well in the polls. I mean, I can't help. This has got to be politically motivated. Because they're really, a lot of these young kids are going to be turning 18 next year and going to be voting. A lot of the kids that are seniors now. And I think a lot of this has to do with changing their thinking and disavowing anything that makes Trump look good or anything like that. I can't help but think there's political reasons behind
there is,
this
of
too.
course, because all these things are political.
Well, that has to do with Trump.
One of the new polls that came out through NBC News over the weekend is that Trump is beating Biden among the young voters, Gen Z voters.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he must be doing well, so they're coming up with this because a lot of these kids that are seniors are going off to college next year, turning 18. They're going to be voting for the first time in 2024. Like with every election, you have a whole group of young kids. And you're right. I think they're panicked. So this is a way to try to, again, tighten the grip, try to combat that, to try to stop the messaging and change the messaging and control the messaging. This is not to benefit the children. I can promise you.
You're right about that.
This is to just continue the brainwashing.
No, you're absolutely correct. Now, I want to take a moment
There's no place for this in public school.
I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Your support means a lot. It helps us out a lot, and it's greatly appreciated. And if you are a Patreon supporter, not only thank you, but make sure you go to the Patreon page and take advantage of the perks and exclusive things that you have access to. One of the perks to becoming a Patreon supporter is Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, Macho, John, Maria in Texas, ActicFox, Heather, David, and Melissa. Thank you all. These are our top Patreon supporters. And if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there is a link in the description of this and every episode. All right. There's also a direct link on my website, briancraigshow.com. Also, if you would like to advertise on the program, you can email us. There's an email link at briancraigshow.com.
Okay, so now on Newsmax just tweeted yesterday, I guess Ron DeSantis was on with Eric Bolling, and let me get the audio up here. This is just ridiculous.
Okay, you got the audio queued up?
Yeah.
Okay.
To have debates, whether the RNC should be the ones that are controlling that, I don't know that that's necessarily the right way. That's how it's gone. Maybe as we get forward, maybe there'll be more freewheeling debates. I mean, I'd love to do a debate on Newsmax. We get the former president and me. Let's just have at it for an hour. I think we would do it.
Hold on, I'm getting a note in my ear right now. Your books.
We'll do it on your show. We'll make it happen. So I think it's important. But listen, I find it funny. People say cancel debates and stuff. The last time I checked, the people decide who they want.
Okay, so that's he wants to challenge Trump. First of all,
of course, he's like 50 points behind Trump in the polls.
DeSantis is not even a player in this anymore.
No.
He has slipped so much. So now I guess he was on Newsmax yesterday with Eric Bolling, and he wants to challenge Trump. He's challenging everybody to a debate. Newsom, Trump,
Zelensky.
Yeah. I don't understand, because the more he's out in the public, the worse his polling is. I don't understand how he rationalizes this or thinks that he still thinks he can win.
Let me tell you,
he's deluded.
His numbers are so low.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not even credible for him to be in a debate at all.
I agree.
It's a joke.
I know. And now he wants to go against. He thinks that makes him look tough. But when you're polling at 6% and Trump is like in the 60%, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And he keeps coming out here acting like he's a player in this game, and he's not. He's way down. He's almost fallen off the stage, as Trump would have said to Jeb Bush. He just keeps going further. Who's going to be in the next debate? I mean, how many debates are there? How many more are coming? Do you know?
Yeah, they got one coming up, and it'll have Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, Ramaswamy, and Chris Christie. I don't know.
Well, Trump came out yesterday and said that they should end debates, that the RNC should end
in the primary,
that they're a waste of money,
yes,
and that they should stop having these debates because they're a complete waste. And that's really what that conversation was about. And he's right about that. It's stupid. It's pointless. But let them waste their money. It hasn't changed anything. It certainly hasn't helped Ron DeSantis. So I don't know why he keeps wanting to do debates, because they keep hurting him. Exactly. They're making it worse. Every time he is in a debate, there's memes and videos of him making weird faces and doing weird things and with the boots. Every time he goes out in public, he falls even further.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, we are out of time, but we will be back next time. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will